Once upon a time, you bought a Kia because it was cheap and somewhat cheerful, and of course it had a 7-year warranty. Nowadays though, the South Korean brand is able to produce cars that can actually put some German noses out of joint. Take the new Kia Sorento for example. Not only is it fantastic to look at, but it is crammed with technology. So much so, Kia themselves state that this is the most high-tech car it has ever built. Well, that was before the EV6 came out, which probably has more tech. But anyway, let's not get bogged down in that. In this video, I will show you why this could well be the ultimate 7-seater SUV. Before I get the show on the road, let me tell you 5 things you need to know about this car. The new Sorento is based on Kia's new N3 mid-sized SUV platform, but of course has a larger body to offer more space. Compared to the last Sorento, the wheelbase has been extended by 35mm. Despite having a 1.49 kWh battery installed, interior space has not been compromised. There are 3 powertrains available, a 2.2 litre diesel, a plug-in hybrid, and of course this, the self-charging hybrid. Prices start from £39,710 and there are 3 trim levels available, 2, 3 and 4. Even the base model has got a good level of kit, including 17-inch alloys, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone climate control, a new 12.3-inch digital display and LED lights. Oh God, they're bright. Cool. The driving experience is pleasurable and relaxing. There is a high amount of comfort to be had in the Kia Sorento, as well as a good amount of relaxation. It is, yes, a nice car to live with. This is of course the hybrid, and this version of the Sorento, the 4th generation, is the first to have electrified powertrains. But in case you're not quite ready to enter the world of EV motoring, then there is the choice of a 2.2 litre diesel. If you want something a bit more electrified than this, if that makes sense, then there is a plug-in hybrid available as well. Both that and this make use of a 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine, which is aided by an electric motor. In this car, it offers around 230 horsepower and 360 newton meters of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic, which works well enough, although sometimes when you use the paddles, it can be a little bit laggy, but for the most part, it isn't a massive complaint. It just isn't the slickest automatic I've ever used. I'm sure you're not too concerned about performance stats, so for the time being, let me focus on fuel economy. On a combined run, because this car's got the larger 19-inch alloys, Kia states that you can expect up to 38.2 mpg, which, to be fair, isn't exactly groundbreaking, but this car isn't exactly small, therefore it's lugging about plenty of weight. And in regard to CO2 emissions, this emits 169 grams per kilometre. In case you're interested in performance stats, this will hit 60 miles per hour in a rather respectable 8.7 seconds, and the top speed, I know that is quite irrelevant, that is 119 miles per hour. Going back to the running costs, if you're thinking about having this as a company car, the BIK rating is 37%. So yes, not the wisest choice if you do want to have this as a company car, but I imagine this is going to be more retail wise anyway. Thanks to the presence of electrification, the Sorento is surprisingly lively when you put your foot down. If you want even more performance though, then you do have the choice of a sport driving mode, which makes everything more responsive. As well as the sports driving mode, I've got Eco or Smart. Smart is essentially an automatic driving mode that will adapt to the way how you are driving. On the dial, if you press down, you get a set of terrain driving mode. So I now have a choice of snow, mud or sand, which I won't really need for today, so I can forget about those. The Sorento comes as standard with all-wheel drive. That's for all versions. So if you want a front-wheel drive version, then, well, tough, you can't have one. The car also comes with hill descent control as well, in case you need it, but again, I doubt it's a feature you're likely to need anytime soon. For those of you that are thinking about using this to tow something such as a trailer or a caravan, the hybrid version can tow up to 1,650 kilograms, but if you want even more pulling power, then go for the 2.2 litre diesel, as that can tow up to 2,500 kilograms, which is 500 more than before. If you go for the 3 or the 4 trim level, as standard, you get self-leveling rear suspension as well. Compared to the last model, Kia has been working hard to improve their refinement by enhancing the soundproofing and making tweaks here and there. And from where I'm sitting, I would argue it has worked. Yes, this is a very nice place to be. It's a relaxing, almost soothing car to drive. I've got plenty of mod cons as well. So if I had this as a family car, I think I'd be pretty happy. This model, as standard, has the 19-inch alloys because this is the range topping 4, but despite that, the ride comfort is still really good. Yes, it can be a touch fidgety at town speeds, but on a road like this at speed, it's almost gliding over the tarmac. It's really nice. These seats are very comfortable as well, and I think you'd have very little issue driving this vehicle for a long distance. Refinement is impressive as well. There's a bit of road noise coming into the cabin from those 19-inch alloys, but no real need to raise my voice. You do get a bit of wind noise on motorways at motorway speeds, but that is to be expected. This is a tall riding SUV. Despite that, it's still a pretty peaceful car to live with. It is an easy car to live with as well. Got lots of mod cons and some clever touches. So for example, I've got what I believe is called the blind spot view monitor. I may have to correct myself if in case I haven't used Kia's correct terminology, but in essence, whenever you indicate, you get a little display come up on the digital display that shows your blind spot. Really, really clever stuff. One would argue that you shouldn't really need it, but it's good to have it just in case. This car, as you would expect, is peppered with plenty of safety features, although because this car is quite large, quite wide, on roads like this, the lane keep assist does actually get a bit annoying to the point where you actually have to turn it off. That won't be an issue on the motorway though. Speaking of the size, although it is a big car, it's pretty good in the corners, considering. I'm not going to say this handles like a hot hatch, because it doesn't, and let's be honest, you wouldn't expect it to. But for the car it is, it's competent in the corners. As you would expect from a 7-seater family SUV, the Kia Sorento offers plenty of space. As standard on the 4, I get a power tailgate, so getting access to the rear is pretty easy. As you can hopefully see, I currently have the car in 7-seater mode, therefore I have a boot capacity of 179 litres, which is roughly the same as a Fiat 500. However, if you want to have it in 5-seater mode to get a larger boot, then folding the rear seats is very easy indeed. You've got a strap in the back of each seat, pull it and push the seat down like so, and in no time at all, you have it in 5-seater mode. Now I have 608 litres to play with, but if you want to go the whole hog and you want to have it in 2-seater mode, you want to have all the space in the world, then getting the middle row of seats folded down is even easier, because I have 2 buttons just here, push them, and hey presto, I now have the car in 2-seater mode. Now I have almost 2,000 litres at my disposal, more specifically 1,996. The middle seats do fold rather flat as well, so getting large bits of, let's say, flat pack furniture into the vehicle should be very easy. Also in the rear, I have a 12-volt socket, and in case you're wondering, yes, you do get a spare wheel as standard. It is located underneath the car. Now this is where things get a bit interesting, because I'm going to squeeze all 6'2" of me into the rear seat. So if you fancy a bit of entertainment, be sure to grab your popcorn and maybe put the kettle on. This may take a bit of time. Now thankfully I have a button here and the middle seat slides forward for me. Having said that, the space left over to get in doesn't appear to be ample. So let's squeeze my way in. Now there is a new grab handle to make getting into the rear easier. Gives me some impression of what it would be like to put an elephant through a letterbox. Right, I'm in, haha. And let's bring that seat back. Let's bring it back like so. Now, to be fair, the rear seats aren't really designed for someone of my height, are they? Let's be honest. But even so, I do fit back here, much to my surprise. Okay, headroom is, it is a bit limited, but the legroom and knee room is quite surprising. And if you are a smaller adult, or if you want to put children in the back, then they'll have no complaints. You have a USB port either side, so those in the rear can charge their smartphones or their tablets on the move. You've also got air conditioning in the back, which is a really good touch, and you've got a cup holder either side, as well as a bit of storage. So even though this isn't the best place to be in the car, it isn't a bad place to be. Right, time to make my way out. Wish me luck. I know how am I going to do this. This feels like a round on the Krypton factor. Just right leg first and hope for the best. That was almost dignified. Oh, I think I've dislocated both my hips. Oh, is there a doctor anywhere? Oh, dearie me, I'm getting too old for this. Safe to say, the middle row of seats is going to be far more accommodating, particularly for someone of my height. Speaking of which, as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. As I mentioned, I'm 6'2", so I am, of course, a taller chap. Before I step in, I just want to say that the opening is quite wide, which is good. It means the vehicle is quite accessible, so if you do have someone in your family with mobility issues, that is bound to be a help. Okay, you could argue that the roofline is maybe a bit low. For example, earlier I hit my head on that trying to get in, but that's me being clumsy. Anyway, I'm starting to digress. So with that in mind, let me step inside so I can actually show you the rear space. As you can hopefully see, I've got a good amount of knee room and plenty of leg room. Plus, I can fit my feet underneath the seat in front of me, so I can really stretch back and relax. The headroom isn't too shabby either. I haven't got loads of it, so if you happen to be taller than me, let's say 6'4", you may find it to be a bit of a struggle, but this car, as standard, does have a panoramic roof, which quite often can eat into headroom. If you were sat in the middle seat, you probably would get a bit more headroom. And good news, if you do happen to be sat in the middle, there's very little in the way of a transmission tunnel. So needless to say, the middle row of seats is spacious, but what about practicality? Kia hasn't forgotten about that area. In fact, they've gone to town with practicality. So in the door, I've got not one, but two cup holders. Well, cup holders, bottle holders. So I've got one just here. I've got one lower down, which is big enough to just about squeeze a 1 litre bottle into. There's also an armrest in the middle for added comfort, and there's 3 more cup holders in here. You've got map pockets, hooks either side, and you've got a good array of charging points. So down here on the centre console, I've got a 12-volt socket and a USB port. Plus, I've got a USB port in the driver's seat and one in the front passenger seat. Very handy. There's also vents for the climate control. And get this, look at this handy feature. As standard, you get an integrated blind. That is fantastic, if I can get it hooked in. Every other take, I've done that first time. On this take, I've made a mess of it. But anyway, that aside, that is a really handy feature, and then proof that Kia is really thinking about the type of people who will own and buy this car. Fantastic. The middle row of seats, they also slide forwards and backwards as well, like so, and the length of which they slide is 45mm further than before. There we go. And I've also got a recline function for even more comfort. That is nice. So the rear of the Sorento is spacious, practical, and above all, well thought out. Well done, Kia. And that of course leaves the front. Let me step in once more, make myself comfortable. So as standard on the 4, the driver's seat and the passenger seat for that matter are electronically adjustable, and for the driver's seat I have 2 memory functions. The inside of the Sorento is a nice place to be. Don't get me wrong, it isn't screaming character, but it does shout awfully loudly quality. Everything you touch in here just feels spot on, and you really do have to look hard to find a material that feels cheap or nasty. It's a very well appointed cabin, if I don't say so myself. In regard to practicality, the door bins, if I'm honest, aren't the biggest. I am a little bit disappointed by them, but you can fit in a 500ml bottle with a bit of space left over for some snacks. As standard, you get a wireless phone charging pad, so you've got a bit where you can pop your smartphone and a bit of space left over. There's also 3 USB ports as well, which is quite generous to say the least. 2 cup holders in the middle, a little slot where I've squeezed in some dried mango. Serves 2. Yeah, right. A centre armrest which lifts up to offer quite a lot of space underneath, as well as a tray that is removable. Very good, I'm very impressed by that. There's no sunglasses holder, sadly, which is a bit disappointing, but on a day like today, I don't really need sunglasses anyway. And last but not least, you do get a glove box which offers a decent amount of space, and it is lined with fabric for better quality. I like that. When it comes to kit, the Kia Sorento Hybrid is all over it. The range-topping Ford trim level, as shown here, has a starting price of £48,310. Standard features include 19-inch alloys, LED lights, keyless entry, leather seats, heated front and outer middle seats, heated steering wheel, ventilated front seats, panoramic roof, 8-way electronically adjustable driver's seat, 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 10.25-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth, smartphone connectivity and navigation, front and rear parking sensors, reversing camera, wireless phone charging pad, BOSE sound system, head-up display, plus more. Safety kit includes autonomous emergency braking, lane follow assist, lane departure warning, speed limiter, trailer stability assist, driver attention warning, and 6 airbags, which, as you may have guessed, earned the Sorento 5 stars from Euro NCAP. So, to sum up, the Kia Sorento Hybrid, could this well be the ultimate 7-seater SUV? You know what? I think it could be. You'd have to find something pretty special in order to beat this. Yes, I know on paper this looks quite pricey, but just think of everything you're getting as standard. It looks fantastic, it's spacious, practical, pretty good to drive, and it ticks so many boxes. So if you aren't looking at this for a 7-seater SUV, then frankly, I think you're stark raving mad. A massive thank you for Kia for loaning me this vehicle for the week, and of course a massive thank you for you guys watching this video. I do hope you have found it useful or enjoyable. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.